So I tell my agents to respond within 15 minutes. 15 minutes or I feel like the client has moved on. We're in the world of getting our answers right now and today. And so I feel like they need to act or they'll lose it.
So everyone listening to the podcast knows I've been in the real estate world for about 15 years. But even before I worked in real estate, I'd be driving on the highway and there's this one realtor and I always just see her billboards everywhere. Like you cannot, I'm in Michigan, there's lakes everywhere. And I feel like I cannot go to any of my favorite beach towns without seeing Sandi Gentry and the Gentry team's name everywhere. And now, through being in the business, I've had the privilege of meeting with her and hanging out with her. And today she's actually on the show and we're doing kind of a special episode where it's my podcast. It's also her Keys to Coast podcast. So Sandi, welcome to the show today.
Thank you. Excited to be here.
Well, I am just so pumped to have you on because number one, I have to say, although the snow is keeping us physically apart today, you have one of the absolutely most beautiful offices of any real estate brokerage I've ever been to. So thank you for that. But your team in 2025, I was pulling numbers, did over $136 million in sales in Michigan. And you did over 70 million of that, which is just huge. So you've been in the business forever, although you wouldn't look it. How have you continued to do such a high volume of business every year? I think, both people in your community and mine would love to just hear from you of like, what does it take to get there and how do you sustain it?
Well, number one, I love what I do. So I think there's always that saying that if you love what you do, it feels like you're never working a day in your life. So I absolutely love what I do. I love people. I love to serve. And so I think that part comes naturally. But you do definitely, it is hard work. I will definitely say that. And so I think every day is a different day. And you never know what's going to come to you in a day. Sometimes I think it's going to be easy day. And then one phone call after another phone call, and I need to list my house. And I think that is the one thing that does make us different is that we are right on it. Like if somebody says that to me, great, let's get together. Now is the time. And that's always what I say. Why delay when I can do it now?
That is just such awesome advice because there's so many choices that every person on earth has to make all day, right? We have family choices, we have real estate choices, we have work choices. And so when you even have like that hint that someone is interested in meeting with you, your number one job as a salesperson, regardless of your profession, is to get them to the point of sale and make sure that happens fast. Like if someone says they're interested in buying something from me, whether it be a website or maybe they want to mortgage something, I want to get on the phone with them immediately because my chance of closing goes down probably by, I'm just going to make up a number, 20% every hour that I don't follow up. Some of them are going to go to a competitor, but some of them, the customer themselves will just lose steam, and I don't want to lose a deal because of that.
So I tell my agents to respond within 15 minutes. 15 minutes or I feel like the client has moved on. We're in the world of getting our answers right now and today. And so I feel like they need to act or they'll lose it.
And what's crazy is that and I think a lot of sales professionals know that for online leads and people that don't know you, I think the Harvard Business Review actually published a study that said that your chances of converting someone you don't know goes down by 400% if you don't contact them within the first 15 minutes. What I think realtors and lenders forget, and any salesperson, is that applies to your friends and your family as well. Like everything. Nothing is promised to us in this business.
Mm-hmm. It is always that kind of going back to that timing is now. We do have commitments in our life. Like we do have family commitments and it's always that work-life balance for sure. And I want to be present in my children's life as much as I want to be present in my grandkids' life. And so I've committed to babysitting for my grandkids every Tuesday night. So I know that is a commitment. I know by 6 o'clock I need to be there. And so it's been amazing though, because even for people that call up and say, okay, I want to list my house or whatever. I'm like, great. Well, 4:30 work, 5 o'clock. Okay. Then if they say, no, we have to work late, I have even gone after my babysitting commitment. I've gone to somebody's house at 8:30, 9 o'clock at night and have signed papers with them or have met with them or whatever needed through that process. So it's always about making it happen. And I think that is another thing that um, it's not always, we do have commitments, but it's not always our schedule. It's when our clients can
Right.
make it, do it. And I keep offering times and I do not let them off the phone until we have something set. So I think that is so important. And I feel like actually, even just with a listing appointment I got, they were like, wow, good. All right, you made this easy. We have it all set. And they were like, the last two people we talked to, we hung up and nothing was decided or set. And I feel like it is so important for us to do that.
Well, and I think that almost brings up like a whole new topic and piece of advice. And that's
Mm-hmm.
you should never get off the phone or end a meeting without a clear plan of what's next, right? Like
I
I know after we're done with this episode, I know what my marching orders are, and I know that I need to send you a copy of this immediately so that you can use it
Yeah.
as well. I know that I need to find the 3 or 4 best clips and get that to someone on my team. I know that I need to like write a really creative title right after we talk so it's fresh in my head. And I know that like I'll have some kind of follow up that I'll have come up with to give to you to say like thank you so much, Sandy. Let's do something again soon, but I'll set whatever that is next. And I
And
think
guess what? I have to interrupt because I just read an article on this. That makes you even so much more productive because you get it off your mind. And then so that is perfect advice because you get it off your mind, you can move on to other things.
yeah, and I mean, I think like especially in real estate and sales and a lot of these industries, there are so many aspects that it takes to be good, right? There's the operational side, there's the actual documents, there's getting new business, there's taking care of clients you have, there's being grateful, and then obviously there's the things like eating and doing all the human stuff. But to simply like cross stuff off your list feels really good, and I have my like to-do list right here and I write new stuff on it. I cross stuff out, and then at the end of the day, I can kind of measure my success and think this was a good day. I got a lot of this done. And if anything I didn't get done that wasn't a priority, I can move forward to the next day, or say maybe this doesn't need to be done in the first place.
Right. That is so
So
true.
one of the things I've noticed, and you mentioned a lot, you talked a lot already about your speed to lead. Like you communicate, you jump on things as soon as there's an opportunity, and obviously that's fast. But word travels fast in small communities, and although you do business in a lot of places, you are like the market share you have in Grand Haven, Spring Lake, Michigan, your kind of main area is, I would say, pretty unheard of for a realtor to have in this day and age, right? I think
Yeah.
20, 30 years ago, it was maybe more common. How have you continued to be basically, number one in a tight market for so long?
Well, I think going back to the basics is I prospect still every day. It's nothing new. And I think as much as we try to change it and say, I'm going to text people, I'm going to email people, I still go back to picking up the phone.
I love it.
Every day I make phone calls. And I think I understand with the younger generation and my team, especially, most of them are younger. They do want to do the texting and the emailing, which is sometimes how that younger generation prefers to be communicated with. But at the end of the day, I think the phone call is actually what gets it done.
Well, absolutely. And there's so much more psychology on a phone call that you can use to like figure out what your goal is, right? Like if I'm making a phone call, my goal is usually very specific. I'm either trying to like sell something specifically that I know is a good opportunity, or I'm trying to set a meeting, or I'm trying to give them a piece of information that they need to know. But over text, you lose a lot of that. And if it's not like a pressing thing in their mind, you're actually just interrupting their day. And I think an email is even worse, right? And I
Right.
think the younger generation would probably say like, and I'm probably halfway in between the younger generation and like wherever the hell I am. But
Right.
an email is easy to ignore. A text is
Mhm.
like in the middle. Maybe a social media DM is somewhere over there, and then a phone call is here and a face-to-face meeting is at the top.
Yeah.
But what we don't see a lot of times is the top producer that's doing 100 million plus still making time for new prospecting. And obviously, you mentioned at the beginning that you're in love with your job and you wouldn't be doing that if you weren't. But what, like, can you provide, just go a little bit deeper? Like, how do you choose who you're going to call? And then what types of topics are you saying? And do those topics change weekly? Like, I want to hear more about like the architecture of how you put those calls together and how
Sure.
they go.
So I have people that, so granted, 35 years in the business, I have people that like they still have in the 90s and I still have sheets on them. And I go through and I just kind of save those sheets because remember, yes lives in the land of no. And at some point in time, they are going to buy or sell a house. I can guarantee you. So I go back and granted, I call past clients, I call people that have never bought anything yet. And I think now with all the years of calling these people, I feel like actually at this point in time, they feel like I'm a member of their family. I have learned so much about them. And so I know this is where I'm a dinosaur maybe. I still have a planner, but I still have physical sheets on everybody. And it's just so neat because I can kind of scroll through and I see like all my notes from every time I've talked to them, from when they've had a baby and now this child is learning how to drive or whatever. And it's just kind of neat because I can go back through and I'll reminisce and I'm like, oh my gosh, how's your daughter Calissa doing? Or how's it? It's just been, now I see she's driving. I remember the day she was born and, there's so many things to be able to talk about, but it's more or less just touching base with them one and going back to that top of the mind awareness. And it puts me on the forefront of their mind. So if they ever are talking to anybody in our community about buying or selling a real estate, they were like, you have to call Sandi Gentry. And I have her number memorized because she's left it on my voicemail or I've talked to her so many times. And so it's pretty much everybody, people that I've met at open houses, people that I've met throughout the community that ask me a question about real estate. I immediately write them down, put their phone number, and I put a follow up date. And then I put all of those into my calendar. So every day in my calendar, I have probably 20 to 30 people to call.
Well, I mean, I think that was a nugget there that I feel like you said really quickly, but I want to go back to is that every time you put someone into your calendar, into your notepad, into your phone,
Yeah.
you always set a follow up for yourself.
Mm-hmm.
And
Yeah.
because of that, you show up to work every day and you do the opposite of what most salespeople do. Most
Yeah.
salespeople show up every day. Maybe their office is their home or a Starbucks. For you, it's a
Yeah.
professional setting. But you have stuff to do when you get to the office because of those
Right.
notes that you've pre-populated. So it almost
Mm-hmm.
takes away the guessing for the first couple hours of your day because you've already told yourself in the past what to do. And I'm sure some of those follow-ups were from a year ago, some were from a month ago, and some were from yesterday. And I
Right.
think too few salespeople are doing that. And what I love about that is you could use that in any area of your life, right? Like a follow-up could be things I need to do for my family, could be things I need to do to be a better husband, to be a better pickleball player, whatever that may be.
Right. For
It kind
sure.
of turns it into a game, right? Like you have items on the list and you're checking items off the list, but in a meaningful way. And I think the other thing you mentioned that I want to go back to is that you have such detailed notes on everybody so that when you're making those calls, you can immediately disarm them with something that makes them feel special, right? Like the fact that you remember my kids' names, the fact that you remember all of those little details about me is going to make me immediately think, oh my gosh, she actually cares about me and she's not just commission breath trying to sell me this house.
Exactly. I think that is such a good point because I think it makes them feel, because I do know so much about them, I think that's where they feel that they can't do a real estate move without me. The loyalty comes in, where versus, we establish that rapport, but second, we earn the trust. And I think that's where that is being knitted every phone call that I make. I feel like I'm sealing the deal.
Now, you have your personal production, which is huge, but you also have agents on your team. And the agents on your team have varying levels of experience. Some of them have been with you for longer, shorter, etc. When you're training a new agent, what advice do you give to them? Because a lot of the people listening to the show don't have your 35 years of experience, and they haven't had as many at bats. Like, what are you teaching your agents when they get started to ensure that they can slowly or quickly build to the level of success that you have had?
Yes. So, have had a team now for many, many years. And so I had, when I initially started, it was a little different. You have to pivot with the times. And now I have kind of a younger team. Before it was mandatory, we had Tuesday night call night from 6 to 8. We were dialing for dollars, as they say. So we were on the phones, making those calls and setting appointments and sharing our successes. In today's age, I am here on Tuesday nights making those phone calls, I choose a night during the week that works well. In fact, Monday night, I was here till 9:30 at night, and just wanting to get done the task that I had for the day. And so I do definitely tell all of my agents today is you need to be on the phone. You need to be calling people. You need to touch base with them. I also believe in open houses. I know a lot of people do not or make excuses why they don't work.
Well, those people are wrong.
Right. I mean, the majority of the sheets that I have are from meeting people at open houses. So I've always have done great. Granted, they might not buy the property that I'm at, where I've met them at. It might be too much, too little, whatever it is. I will eventually sell them something else. And so I think it's great because I had that initial meeting with them. Obviously, they're coming to an open house, so they're interested in real estate at some point in time. And eventually, I will sell them something. So I believe in open houses. I believe in any form of where you're meeting people and being able to say what we do is a great, whatever it is, it's a great event because of that.
Andy, you're kind of like a collector of names. Like, throughout your week, you're simply like doing whatever activities you can
Yeah.
to collect names, and then step two is like enriching those names with more information, with deeper information. And
Definitely.
we hear all the time that the average realtor
Yeah.
does like 2 deals a year. And we hear that 7% of of US citizens, buy a home every year. Now, I think this year is going to be closer to 9 to 10% because of like the pent up
Yeah.
demand and more inventory. But if we know that 10% of the population is buying every year, and you simply add 2 people to your database every week, even if you're starting with 0, by the end of the year, you would have 10 sales. And if you're
Right.
thinking about like the average agent out there, the average job and what the average job pays, that would be a tremendous life for a normal person out there.
Definitely. Mm-hmm.
I
That's
also
how you're
think,
going to build that.
yeah, it's just building. I mean, it doesn't need to be get rich quick. It needs to be build something great slowly. And I mean,
Right.
you've built something great over 35 years, which is epic, but you have a nice little moat around it, and you're also building something great for your family and for your team for years to come.
Right.
I don't understand why more people don't just simplify it down to the bare bones of relationships. It's names, and it's something to say to those names. And it's really as easy as that.
I agree with you 100%. And I look at all the clients we have served, and right now it's approximately 300 families every single year. That's pretty much where we give or take a little bit, but that's for sure. We have 300 families that we've served. And I look at, and I just kind of did this overview, like, okay, where are my clients coming from? How many new prospects? And I think the biggest part, and probably over 50% of my production last year, was past clients or from my sphere, where it's been my past client referring me to their friends or family. And I think that is so important, is number one, by doing a great job for them. So that is ultimately, when you say, what do I expect from my team members? is definitely going above and beyond and giving 100%. And not only to that client, but also to the people that we're working with as well. So, like the other realtor that we work with, whether we're selling their listing or they're selling our listing, I think it's just good to realize we're team members. We're trying to do the best we can do for our clients.
Well, that
And
makes more people in the community want to work with you, and it helps
yes,
your name to grow. What
definitely.
Tell me about the market. Tell me about the market by you right now. We have agents listening to this from around the country. What changes have you seen? You obviously represent the Lakeshore in Michigan, but what changes have you seen in the real estate market over the last couple of years?
Well, I feel like our market along the lakeshore, we've stayed steady. Uh, we haven't had the inventory that I would like. I have a lot more buyers waiting for the right property to come up, but then we shift and we say, okay, the property's not on the market. Let's call through the areas that our clients are interested in. So, okay, we have somebody right now, they want to buy a North Shore. There is not one property available on North Shore. So then what do? We start calling through that whole area, trying to find somebody who is possibly interested in selling. And it's kind of neat how that works because it's like a domino effect. And once again, you've touched base with them personally. So they keep you in mind for when they do want to buy or sell in the future, that you're on their mind. But it might not work out for that person that I'm calling on, but it does work out in the future.
Well, it's interesting because the book I published like 7 years ago at this point, we had a chapter and it was called "Turning Your Buyer's Needs into
Mm-hmm.
Ammunition for More Clients for You." And
Yeah.
what you just said is exactly that. Like every
Mm-hmm.
single buyer need or seller need that you have is a reason to pick up the phone. It's a reason to market. It's a reason to like call people. And what those people appreciate is that, oh wow, like my realtor never did this strategy to try to get me a house or to sell my house,
Yeah.
but they can see the effort that you're putting in, that the people on your team are putting in, and that makes you so much more desirable as someone to work with. And I
Yeah.
think too many times, especially as a marketer, agents will come to me and say, "Hey, I've had this home listed forever and it's not selling," or "Hey, I have this buyer and I've been working with them for 2 years." I'm like, "Why? Like, what? Like, are you just waiting for them to send you homes that they found online? Like, who's doing whose job here?" But to put
Exactly.
that extra effort in and to figure out, like, okay, what can I do to move the needle? How can I create my own opportunity? That's really where the magic happens in real estate. Like I can really tell like you would not be at the place that you're at today had you not been creating opportunities for your clients. You're not waiting for them to come to you. You're not waiting for homes to list so that you can sell them. You're making stuff happen.
Exactly. And that is definitely the market we're in today. You have to
Well,
make it happen.
so what's next? I mean, like $136 million in sales, beautiful office, great team. Like, what should we see from you guys in 2026 and beyond?
We have some very new, exciting things coming up. And I can't say it yet.
You'd have to kill me if you told me. I get it.
I know exactly. So, but really exciting things coming up for our team and excited for the next steps for sure. I think it has, it's funny because people are like, oh gosh, aren't you exhausted? And this has only, my adrenaline is up so much right now. I am so ready. I'm ready for this weather to break.
Yeah. Other than
And
that,
yes, and then just get going on this new development. So it
awesome.
is so exciting. So I cannot wait to share more with you. But I think so. We do the one word. So my word this year is focus. So I am very focused and very intentional with everything that I do. I think I was going back and forth between focus and clarity, but I am really focusing on just dotting my I's, crossing my T's, and bringing this next development to the next level. And then we choose a team word, and our team word this year is level up. It's actually kind of two words, but and I feel like we are just kind of going back through and we are just kind of housekeeping on making sure that everything is current, everything is, even if we can elevate whatever we're doing right now, we can elevate it just to that next degree. That's what we've been just kind of going through and doing that through our, I don't want to say slow months because it has not been slow months, but just doing that through this winter time so that when spring is here, we are just ready to go and we're going to be in high gear for
I
sure.
love that. We did a very similar activity. I mean, the cool thing here is that success leaves clues, right? Like we're all
Yeah.
doing a lot of the same things. We had a team meeting a couple months ago, and we said, "What are the five main elements of our business?" And we outlined those, and we said, "What are everyone's ideas for making each one of those things 1% better, or maybe 50% better?" And
Yeah.
everyone had to write down their answers separately so we didn't get groupthink. And then we went through the answers that people gave, and we graded them, and we said, "How easy are these to implement?" And like could how hard would it be to get these done? And
Right.
we came up with at least two for every element of our business that we said we could easily add this in, and it would be just changing an email. This would be adding a text in. One of them, it did involve hiring someone, which was a huge win. But if you just want to level up a little bit, just break down your business into whatever the most important parts are, and then focus on those areas rather than on the business as a whole.
Right.
Sandy, we always end with like the same thing. If an agent out there has someone who is moving to the Lakeshore and wants to get a hold of you, how would they get a hold of your team?
Oh, I love it. So they can call our team at 616-935-1150, and we answer that 24/7, which is important to know. And then also, you can actually go to our website at Sandi with an I, SANDIGENTRY.com, or you can email me at Sandi, SANDI, at SandyGentry.com, or feel free to text 616-638-3900.
And for anyone that hasn't been to the Lakeshore in Michigan, it is absolutely beautiful. Right now, you could probably walk to Chicago on the ice because it's so cold outside.
Yeah,
But once
perfect.
April May hits, there's like no better place in the United States to hang out and spend a summer. So if you need
Exactly.
advice on that, call Sandy. I'm happy to connect you. But Sandy, thank you so much for spending time with us today.
Thank you, Matt.